understand how much God loves you? Do you understand how much this God loves you? He let puny humans like me spit in his face. Why? Why did he do it? Because he loves you. Someone had to pay. Someone has to pay for all this sin and evil and darkness and death on this earth. Someone had to pay the penalty. And Jesus said, I will pay.
Why did God create it to begin with?
For their sins.
What?
Father, punish me.
Why did God create it to begin with?
God gave us free will. And free will is essential if we're going to have love. God could have created robots.
How do you know God gave us anything?
God created us in his own image.
How do you know God created us?
Because life comes from life and intelligence comes from intelligence. From nothing comes nothing. There has to be an uncalled cause, an unmade maker.
How do you know it's
or
a God?
Nothing would ever be.
How do you know it's a God?
God's in my life and I know him. And if you ask
have
God,
no idea.
he'll reveal himself to you.
So you have no idea.
Oh, I have an idea or I wouldn't be on the corner here, sir.
How can we know you're telling the truth?
Ask God. He says, if you seek him, you will find him. If you search for truth,
if you don't even believe in a God, how are you going to ask? All right, tell me how to ask a God. Tell me how to
say, God, I humble myself before you.
How do I ask a God?
Do you want an answer? Do you want
I'm asking you. How do I ask?
I'm telling you.
All right, tell me how.
I'm saying you bow your knee and humble yourself.
How is that talking to a God?
I'm not going to talk.
How is that talking to a God? You have no idea what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
God loves you, sir. Have a nice day.
You don't even know what a God is. Tell me what a God is.
God's the creator of all things.
You tell me what you think it's done. You don't tell me what it is.
Let me ask you a question.
What is it?
Where did life come from?
What does that have to do with it? Let me answer the question. No, my question is
I'm not answering your question. Where did life come from?
Well, then why bother?
Where did your mind come from?
What does that have to do with what I'm asking you?
Let me ask you, what are you?
What does that have to do with
anything? It has to do with everything. What are you?
How does that do with it? You tell me.
I'm asking you a question.
You tell me what it has to do with everything.
What are you? What is a human being?
Just make your point. Just make your point.
I'm asking you a question.
Make your point.
What is a human being?
Make
I'm asking you for an answer.
Well, why don't you make your point?
Are you just a bundle of biochemistry?
Are you going to make your point or what?
Do you have a soul?
What's a soul? What's a soul?
I'm not going to argue.
What is a soul? You don't even know what a soul is. You don't know what a God is. You don't know what a soul is. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Soul is who you are.
What?
God is.
You're out here talking to people, hoping to brainwash them.
When you hear a symphony, you know there's a composer. When you look at a MacBook, you figure there's some intelligent creatures that made the MacBook.
You're not getting anywhere, buddy.
When you read a book, you assume there's an author. So what is God?
No one's listening to you because you have no idea what you're talking about.
But in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
You don't even know that. You don't even know what a God is.
The Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters.
Now here with a loudspeaker so you can drown people out.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God.
It's so stupid. Why should anyone believe in any of the bullshit you're saying?
Through Him, all things were created, and without Him, nothing was created that is
That makes
created.
no sense at all.
In Him was life. That's
no
okay.
sense at all.
You don't understand.
You're not making any sense at all.
A lot of people understand it. But that in Him was life, and that life was the light of men.
You're an idiot.
The light shined in the darkness, but the darkness has not overcome it.
Blah, blah,
there was
blah,
a man
blah,
who came to God,
blah,
his name was John. He
blah,
himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world, and He was in the world, and though the world was made through Him, the world did not recognize Him. He came to His own people, and His own people did not receive Him. Yet to all who received Him, Jesus, to those who believe in His name, He gave them the right to become children of God. Children born not of flesh and blood,
but
born of the Spirit of God.
If I'm a fool for knowing that Jesus is bullshit, what is that? What's your excuse?
To say that Jesus exists.
To say there's no God would be to look at my
Why should we
laptop,
think Jesus exists?
Say, look what happened.
Literally everyone knows Jesus exists.
No. The question is, how do we know Jesus exists?
How do you know anything exists?
Popularity does not buy truth.
How do you know anything exists?
Okay, that doesn't help you answer the question.
No, I'm asking you because if you
don't answer the question, because I answered you the question. You said you know God, Jesus is real.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
How do you know that Socrates existed?
How do you know?
How do you know that Socrates existed? How do you know that Plato existed? How do you know that Caesar Augustus existed?
So you have no reason to think that Jesus existed.
I have
go off because so many people believe in it. You do, right?
I have all of the evidence in the world.
What's
For any other historical figure, I have the same or more evidence.
What evidence do we have for Jesus existing? What evidence do we have?
Have you ever read Josephus?
Josephus was written well after Jesus.
Yes, but it's history. It's history. How do you know George existed.
Just because Josephus
How
existed.
do you know George Washington existed? Because you read history books. Because you're not an idiot.
No historian lived during Jesus' time ever wrote about it. No historian at all. Trying to refer to
Did Muhammad
Josephus,
exist?
he existed at
The
least
Lord while he
30
may
years
be found,
after
the
Jesus
Bible
was
Did
says,
Muhammad exist?
while he is
What does
near.
that have to do with
Let
the
the
Because
wicked
if you
forsake his
believe
way,
all these
and
other
his
characters
thoughts
exist
let
in
him turn
history,
to the
you
Lord.
have the same evidence
You're
for Jesus.
referring to something
You're a
non-contemporary. You're referring to something non-contemporary. Show me something contemporary written during Jesus' time to show he existed. Anything contemporary. You refer to Josephus, who is not contemporary. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, do you believe Socrates existed?
Hey, answer
Do
the
you
question.
believe it?
Don't go off track.
Because it's
Don't go off track.
irrelevant.
You can't use
You're
analogies.
irrelevant.
You can't use
You're
analogies.
irrelevant.
You cannot use
It's not an analogy. It's history.
It is an analogy.
If you believe Socrates existed, then you must believe
You
Jesus.
refer to Josephus. Is that your best thing, Josephus? Is that the best thing you have?
I thank you, God.
You aren't
Is that all you have?
You believe in every historical figure.
That's all you have. That's all you have, Josephus. That's it.
In the
Is that right?
David,
Okay,
Is that it?
I don't know what you're doing here, dude, but you're not listening to what I'm saying, are you?
Oh, I am. I'm
I
asking you
just
questions
asked
and you
you
can respond to them.
Yes, okay, my argument now. Are you listening to my argument now? Does Socrates exist?
That doesn't do with what we're
Did he
talking about.
exist?
It has nothing to do with what we're talking
Ask
about.
me.
Nothing to do with what we're
Okay,
talking about.
listen. I don't know where you want to go with this. If you
I
want to
am. You
admit
said,
that historical
it's
figures
pretty
exist.
obvious Jesus existed. That's where I'm going. I asked
Okay.
you, how do you know?
No,
You
it's
said
pretty obvious
everyone
he
believed in him. That was your response.
Okay.
And then when I drilled you some more, you referred to Josephus, who is not a contemporary writer during Jesus' time. So you have nothing to go by. I'm drilling more, and you have nothing.
I am asking
You're going
you,
off a tangent. You're talking about Socrates. You have no idea what you're talking
Do you
about.
believe in historical figures?
It doesn't help you with your
Why not?
I asked you a specific
Because we
question.
have 5
How do you know?
historical writings
How do you-
about Jesus.
Okay, what are they? What are they?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
We don't even know who wrote them.
Oh, we don't.
No, we don't.
We don't know who wrote
They're
them.
not. We don't even know who the authors
Okay,
are.
well, whoever it was, they were around at the time of Jesus.
How do you know?
Because we have manuscripts that are dated back that long.
By
Mark was
who?
written in 45 AD.
They're all written well after
You're an
Jesus
idiot.
supposed
You're
existed.
an idiot.
They all written well after Jesus existed. All of them are
No, he's an idiot.
post-written.
He won't listen to history. He's not listening.
I'm not the one to saying that you
Mark
are.
was written at the same time
No,
of Jesus'
was
life.
not. No, it's not.
Jesus died
Mark
in
was-
36 AD.
Mark was written well after. All of them were written well
You're
after.
a fool.
They're all
You're
after.
so
You should
stupid.
do your homework.
I can't believe
You have
this.
no idea
I
what you're
can't
talking
believe
about.
He's
No
not
idea.
listening to history.
It's casting pearls to pigs. It's casting pearls to pigs.
I'm having fun. I am.
Well, if you have a belief, you need to substantiate it, okay?
I would say the exact same thing to you, sir.
I'm the one who's without your belief. You're the one with the belief.
have a belief.
You're saying that God exists
So you're placing the burden of proof on us.
because you have the positive assertion. When you have the positive assertion, you have the burden of proof. That's the way it works.
You have a positive assertion. You are asserting the opposite of us, and you are not.
I am without belief in a God.
That is a belief.
That's not a belief. That's a lack of belief is not a belief. What the hell's wrong with you? Derpy, derpy, derp. A lack of belief is not a belief. If I ever say there is no God, I can only say it with as much certainty as I say there is no Peter Pan.
That's literally Satan on his shirt.
But he's trying to get some
This is a goat. This is Brady, you idiot. How's this thing? Are you fucking stupid? Do you even know what goat means? Do you even know what a goat
I
means?
didn't even assault you though.
Do you even know what a fucking? You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. You're out here trying to brainwash people with your bullshit religion. Your bullshit religion. Your stupid Jesus, your stupid God. It's crap.
Hey,
And no
man.
reason to curse
Hey,
you.
don't worry, dude. Listen, our book says that one day every knee
Who
will
gives
bow
a shit what your book says? Why should we
No,
believe
no,
it?
it doesn't matter.
Why should we believe it?
What we believe. So I'm just telling you what my book says, and one day you're going to see, and it's going to be great.
Why? Because you say so?
As you walk
Because you
down
say
the
so?
hill. Have fun. Bye.
Why should I believe in a hell? Because you fucking say so?
It doesn't
You have
matter.
no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, but you can't show it's there, can you?
The Bible says
Hey, man,
it's
it's
Your burden of proof.
Like I
Your
said,
burden of proof.
godlessness and wickedness of men.
I think the
Hey,
conversation's
what does it say about the
Well, it's because
godlessness
you got
and
rolled.
wickedness of
I
men?
fucking
who
rolled.
Yeah,
suppress
you
the
ruled
truth?
me, bro. You got
Yes.
me.
And their wickedness.
Yes, I
So that
did.
may be known about God.
Jesus is real because everyone believes in him. Jesus is real because
God is
Josephus.
made of
And then
claims
5
of
trans. And you think
The
the
Bible
Bible's
says,
written
"Do you
during
see a
Jesus'
man who is
lifetime? Are you
wise in
fucking
his own
kidding me?
eyes?
You have no
There's
idea what
more
you're
Yeah, you're
talking
right, because the
about.
Bible was written before he was
You have
alive.
no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, actually, most of the Bible was written way before Jesus.
The Bible says the fool has said in his heart.
Because they have the Septuagint, which was before Jesus was even alive. Okay, well, if you don't believe that, you don't know Jesus was alive.
You don't even know
I
he's lying.
I encourage you to listeners to look into it for themselves, rather than listen to this retard.
Okay. We're still waiting for how do you know Jesus is real?
That we're in the end
How do you know Jesus is real? We're still waiting for that.
In the end
Have a nice
times,
day.
Yeah,
we
I
know
will have a
that
nice day.
there's going to be
Don't be out here
a
like
lot
a
of
fool,
crazy stuff
trying to tell people about my fairy tale bullshit, God in the sky. I mean, where's the fucking
Bible
God?
tells us
Where's
we're
the
right
Jesus?
there.
Right.
Nowhere.
On the brink
Nowhere.
of the end
You were
times.
brainwashed. How old are you? Like
This,
18?
the scriptures say there'll
I know I look young, I'm not
be
that young,
wars
sorry.
and rumors of
You've been
wars,
brainwashed,
wars and
son.
revolutions
You've
and
been brainwashed.
violence.
Listen,
to believe in shit that's not real. That's
I'll
not
tell your
right.
viewers right now, I spent 6 years trying to disprove that the Bible was real. 6 years.
Well,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
You don't know how to use logic
I
and reason.
spent 5 minutes on the Quran before I could tell it wasn't from
So
God.
we know
But the
we're
Bible
close
took me
to
6
the
years
end
and I
game,
failed.
and God
Because
is
you didn't
calling
do it
all of
properly.
us
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not a good historian.
and be
When
saved.
someone says that God exists, you need evidence to show it's real.
I hope that your viewers
You
are
missed
smarter
that.
than
You missed that part of your logic. You didn't use that.
And so it takes more
Get shit on.
It takes more
Yeah, you really
faith to
got
me.
believe
Get
there is
shit on,
no
son.
God.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm
To
going to lose
believe-
I took a
Do
big
not
old
believe
steamy
in
dump
God
on you,
takes
son.
more faith than
Big old
believe
I
in
hope your
God.
viewers love
When I
this.
look at
I
my
really
They
do.
will.
I
I
assume
They're going to feel sorry for you.
Do you have a YouTube
You guys
channel?
walk
Can I
around
check it
with
out?
delusions
Can
out
I-
here trying to convince people of
that
stuff.
created
Can I
my
check out your
macbook.
YouTube channel though?
What's
I will
that?
not
Can I
say
look at your
that the
YouTube
macbook
channel?
happened.
Maybe.
Fine from this is what it seems to me. I'm not lying to you. I'd like to give you do you have evidence that your YouTube channel exists? I'm serious. Okay, so if you don't want
Say
to
the
watch it,
stupidest
fine.
things. But I don't expect more. I don't expect more from a Christian. I really don't. Because you guys have no idea what you're talking
Can
about.
I ask, why does it matter so much?
Because false beliefs equal bad actions. We're all governed by our beliefs. When we believe in things that aren't true, we take actions based on those false beliefs. A lot of bad things happen in the world because people believe in bullshit.
Sure, if we leave it up to
Like
the people, it'll
take
be better.
9/11 for take 9/11 for
I'm
instance.
sure your morality is better than everyone else's.
I've got
I didn't say it was, but I'm saying it's not based on
No, no,
delusion.
I would rather
don't
you
believe
be
in
a
gods. I don't believe in
just
gods
keep
and
going.
spirits.
You just are making so many assertions, and you say we have
What
all these-
assertions am I making?
You just said my belief is not.
What assertions am I making?
Sorry, let me ask you a question. So what do you believe? This is going to
That's a very vague question. How should I answer that?
You tell
I believe
me.
bad things. I believe in this unicycle. I mean, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Well, I'm saying spiritually, what do
is
you
truth?
believe?
Well, I don't know what you mean by spiritually.
Do you believe in Satan? Do you believe
I don't
in
believe in Satan.
How did we
crystals,
get
New
here?
Age,
No.
Buddha?
No, see, now you're getting somewhere. After specific questions, better than fake questions.
Okay. Do you believe in Hinduism?
No, I don't posit any religion.
So,
What
no
do you
religion
believe?
at all.
See, another big question. How am I going to answer that?
How did life arise?
Why did I have to answer that question?
You seem to know a whole lot about a lot. You talked about
I know
truth.
that what you guys
said
are preaching
talking
is
about lies
bullshit
and truth. Well, how do you know?
because you have no evidence to show for it.
Well, you don't have a lot of evidence for what you're saying. What is your
I'm not the
proof?
one.
He doesn't
I'm not
even
the one who
believe that
needs
the
evidence.
Septuagint was
I'm not the
written
one that
before
believes
Jesus.
you are.
Wait, you do need
You need
evidence.
to have evidence
Let me
that
tell you
shows
why
that
you
you're
need
a threat.
evidence. Let me tell you why you need evidence.
I have a lack of belief in what you believe in. I don't need evidence for a lack of belief.
So you believe in a non-God.
That makes no sense
Yes,
at all.
it does.
No
You
sense at all.
you believe
If I ever say there is no God, I can only say it with as much certainty as I say there is no Peter Pan
There's no
or
such
no
thing as truth.
Tinkerbell.
Where
Do you
get the
understand?
concept
Do you
of
understand what I just said
What
to you?
is truth? Yes, I know.
Truth is the degree to which a statement corresponds to reality.
What is reality?
Reality is that which
determines
is directly perceived or indirectly ascertained via the
By
proper
who?
use of reason.
it. By who?
By us.
Who's us? We all
So you believe in
we don't agree.
evolution?
So wait a minute. We have different
Evolution,
perceptions.
do you
How
know
do
what evolution is?
Wait a minute. Wait.
Science?
No.
That doesn't tell me what it is.
What is?
Tell me what it is.
No. You said it's. We all have different perceptions
What?
of reality. Well, everybody has different views of truth.
Sure, I'm sure that's
So
why
is there-
you use evidence to show who's correct.
But how do you know the evidence you're looking at is true? How do you know it's not tainted? How do you know?
Because we test it,
I
we
know
look at
different
it.
people look at different evidence and see it
You're not
different.
going to get anywhere in your conversation
No,
by
no,
saying
no, I want you to know. Is there truth
by
in it?
saying that
Is there
everything's
absolute
questionable.
truth?
No, by
Is there
saying
absolute
by
truth?
saying that everything's questionable, it doesn't get
Is
you.
there
It
absolute
doesn't
truth?
get you anywhere close.
I'm asking
No,
you a
no such
question.
thing as absolute truth.
Wait a minute. You were your statement, there's no such thing as absolute truth.
Yeah.
It's a statement of truth.
Right.
So then you just undermined your own
Truth-
logic. No.
Truth is a degree to which we
You
can
just
work on
undermined
reality.
your
But
own.
how we
No, you
understand reality.
said as a truth. You said there is no such thing as truth.
Right.
Then you said that's a true statement.
I said there's truth. I didn't say there's absolute truth.
No. If your statement there
Where
is
do you
truth,
think you're even going with this?
No, I'm saying
Where do you
it's
think
a
you're going with
relative
this?
statement. There is no, and you're
not getting anywhere
There
with
is
this.
no absolute truth.
Right. So where are you getting with this? Where are you going with this?
You're talking about truth and lies,
Right.
and you can't even establish what truth is.
I just told you what truth
No,
was.
because you said there is no absolute.
No, you talked. That's different. You talked about absolute truth. I did not. You did.
I
talked
asking.
about truth.
So
How do you
well,
even?
who's truth?
You're not using logic
Even your
correctly.
definition of truth has to
Do you think obfuscation? Do you think obfuscation will
No,
get you
your
anywhere?
definition has to do with
Obfuscation
people's
will get
perception.
you nowhere
Does
in this
everybody on earth agree
conversation.
of what's true?
I told you what truth
Does
is.
everyone agree about truth?
Of course not. No.
Okay, so how do you know your
But
definition
how do you
is
know
right?
your God is real?
I'm asking you
How
a
do you
question.
know your God is
What
real?
makes your
Where do
definition
you
of
think
truth
you're going
true?
with this?
I'm saying you have no basis of anything.
How do I have no basis? That makes no sense at all.
No, because you undermine your own
I
foundation.
have no idea what you're
First
talking
you
about.
say there's a truth that
You
there
have
is.
no idea
You
what
said
you're talking
it's
about.
true that there's no such thing as truth.
What?
You said there is no such thing
I
as
think you're
truth.
confusing yourself.
No,
at this
you
point.
said it, you
You're
liar.
Confusing.
You're a stinking liar.
confusing yourself,
You're
son.
a stinking
You
liar.
are confusing
You're
yourself,
a
son.
liar.
Who has imaginary
You're
friends
a
in the
liar.
sky.
You said
You
there's
have
no
issues.
such thing as true.
Nope.
You
You're
heard
full of
you.
shit.
Is there
You
such
have
thing
no
as
idea
truth?
what you're
Is
talking
there
about.
absolute truth? You said there is
You
no.
brought up absolute truth, not
I'm
me.
asking you, is there
I
absolute
disregarded it because it's not relevant.
No, you're lying.
I told you
You're
what
a
truth
stinking
was.
liar.
You're a dumb fuck. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about, son. No fucking
I know
idea.
God. He walks with me. He's in
Tell me
my
what
life.
God is. What is God?
Lover of my soul.
That doesn't tell me
He
what it
saved my
is.
soul.
No,
He gave me a desire to talk with people like you that hate me.
I don't even know you. How can I hate you?
How
How can I hate you when I even know you?
I have an interest in talking to you because I believe in the God that created you and loves you and says you value. What's your motive for talking to me? How do you know it's a delusion?
Because you have no evidence. How many times have I said it to you? I
have a
said
lot
it
of
like
evidence.
3 times already.
Yeah, everything, and no matter what I start to say,
already.
no matter what I start to say, you cut
Because
me
you
off.
talk off in tangents, you're not making sense.
No matter what I
You
say.
need to be cut off because you're not making sense. You're not being logical.
No, that's interesting.
That's the way it works.
Okay, let me give me time for one little illustration. One little
No
illustration.
preaching allowed.
Okay, I'm not
No
preaching.
preaching allowed.
Okay, no preaching. Let me say,
1-minute video.
let's say this black board, let's say that represents all the knowledge of everything in the universe. Everything. Everything material, immaterial, historical, philosophical, everything just represented in this little area, represent there. If you were to take a white paint and say,
Yeah, I know where you're
how
going
much,
with this.
wait a
What's the
minute, how
point?
much of this do you know as a fact now?
Okay,
How much would you paint?
just make your point.
No, I want you to
No, I'm
make.
not answering your question.
Why?
I'm not going to get led.
Would you
to
make a
bullshit.
little dot? Would you make a little dot? I've talked to many
I'm
college
sure it's
professors.
true, but that doesn't mean
Okay,
your God's
so, okay,
real.
Wait. That's
Just because we
Wait,
don't know
wait,
that,
wait.
it doesn't mean we know
if
God's
this-
real, do we?
If this dot, I'm just saying.
It doesn't mean that
Okay,
your God
what I
is
mean,
real.
what I
It
wanna
doesn't
say-
mean your God can be real until you show it's real.
Okay, I just want to. Will you let me finish the illustration?
I already know where you're going with this.
You just don't want to face it.
Face what? There's nothing to face.
The issue is,
It's a bullshit argument. You guys
No,
have bullshit
you
arguments.
won't even let me put it into words because
Go
you're
ahead.
afraid of
Go
the
ahead.
truth.
The truth.
If I put a little
I'm the one that
dot,
holds on to the truth, not you, son.
okay, you can't even define truth.
I just defined it for you, dumbass.
That's a relative
Right now.
statement.
Define it real
What?
quick.
Your definition was a relative statement.
Truth is a degree to which a statement corresponds to reality.
By
That's the
whose
definition.
perception?
That's a
By whose
stupid question.
It's not
That's a
because
stupid question.
reality is only reality as perceived by its perceiver.
That's correct. And we
Okay.
have evidence to back that up.
By whose definition?
By our definition.
So you know this much. This is
You
what
ask
you
me
don't know.
stupid questions.
Don't you think you should have a humble approach? If this is what you know of all that could be known,
Yes.
if this is what the smartest person on earth knows,
All
what
that
could be
means
known,
is we
then-
don't know everything. That's
Okay,
all that
so-
means.
Okay, so you don't know everything.
But you
So-
don't know that there's a God,
Wait,
and you
wait,
can't
wait.
show us there's a God.
You don't know what
So
I know.
telling me that
See, one thing
doesn't
you
get
don't
you
know. Let me
anywhere.
say one thing you
Just
don't
because
know. One
because
thing
we
you
don't know a lot
You
doesn't
don't
mean
know
your
me.
God exists.
You don't know me. You don't know my
I know
experience.
exactly where you're going
You don't
with this.
know me.
Exactly where you're going with this, son.
Let me. How
You
can
guys
say-
are
how
all the
arrogant-
fucking
How
same.
arrogant that you think
All
you know
the
me.
fucking same.
You don't know my experience.
Oh,
so
please.
you're saying this is what
Oh,
you know.
please.
You don't know that, but you're so arrogant, you know it all. You know that nobody out here.
I just know you're full of
that
shit.
There's no God out there.
I just know you're full of shit.
Yes, you do.
Show me there's a God.
You want me to be?
You need evidence. You can't just say there's a God. That's your fucking problem. You think, oh, because we don't know so much, he's got to be out there. That's a stupid way of looking at things.
First of all, everything I start
have
to
to
say,
go.
you cut me off 100 times.
That's because you don't. You talk off in a tangent. You don't make sense.
My tangents make sense.
No, it's bullshit.
Okay, your very ability to think and perceive, okay, is imperfect. Okay, have you ever
Doesn't
been
mean
wrong?
that there could be a God or there is a
Have
God.
you ever been wrong
You
about
still have to
anything
show.
else? Have you ever been wrong
still
about
have to
anything?
show there is a God. You
Okay.
can't use these
Okay.
dumb arguments to show there's a God.
When you hear a
actually have
symphony,
to tell us what a
when
God
you
is
hear a symphony,
and how you know one exists.
Okay, quiet.
You can't argue your way
I'm
out
going to
of it.
tell you. Will you shut
You
up?
understand me?
Will you shut
can't
up?
argue your way out of it. You can't do
No
it.
wonder because you won't shut up for a minute.
Because you're saying
If
stupid
you hear a
shit.
symphony, you assume.
Oh,
there's a
here we go,
composer.
another fucking stupid analogy. Where's this going to get you?
If you
Where
look
the fuck is this going to get you? Fucking nowhere. Symphony time. Blood Four
why do you
time.
hate God?
What's next?
Why do you
I don't
hate
even
God?
believe in a God. How can
Yes,
I hate
you
a
do.
God?
Why do you hate God?
I don't even believe
God
in a
says
God.
you're a liar. Why do you hate him?
I don't even know there's a God.
God says you're a liar.
I
Why
don't
do you
believe
hate
in a God. How could I hate something I don't believe in? Are you fucking stupid?
I'm gonna pray that God will in some
You
way.
pray and I'll think
show
for you, okay?
the next
While you're
stage.
praying, I'm thinking, okay?
Okay. Hey, I think too. I graduated
I don't
from
think
Johns
so.
Hopkins
I
University.
think
Where did you graduate?
definitely don't think as much as I do.
Yeah, really. No, I have a brain. I mean, I don't
You
know.
have no idea what a God is,
Tell me
and
how
you
many-
believe in one.
tell me how many-
Why do you believe in something you don't know what it is?
Okay, I
What
do
kind of-
know. He's in my
you
life.
have no fucking
I
idea
do know
what it
God
is.
is the creator
You
of the
can't
universe.
tell me what a God
I
is.
just told you he's
You
the
have
creator.
no fucking clue.
I just told you,
You have
idiot.
no clue. It doesn't tell
He's
me
the
anything about what a
creator of
God
all
is.
things.
You know,
Albert Einstein
you're telling me what you
was
think
a
it's
God.
done.
God is the
You don't
source
tell
of
me.
life.
You're not
God
telling
is
me
the
what
source
it
of
does.
life.
What it is.
The person behind
tell
our
me
personhood.
what it is.
We are created in the image
You're
of
not
God.
telling me
God
anything.
has personhood.
You're not telling me anything.
God is holy. God
Blah,
is
blah,
righteous.
blah, blah.
He's the source
What the fuck
of
is
law
holy?
and
What is
consciousness.
holy? What does that even mean?
Well, none of
You have
us
no
know.
clue.
Well, let me tell you, I do have a clue.
You have
God's
no
in my life.
fucking clue.
What you don't know is way more than what you do know. And you've been wrong about other
that's true
things.
for all of us.
That's for all of
That's
us.
true for
And
all of
you've
us.
been-
But you're out here saying there's a God, and you need to show there's a God. You're trying to say that what we know is in that little white dot.
God-
You're trying to say
God's-
you're trying to say God is in that little white dot, something we know. That's what you're trying
Your
to
own
say.
conscience
But if
tells
you're
you
going to
there's
say
God.
that, you need to have
Your own
evidence of that.
conscience
You
tells
just
you
can't
about
say
it.
that there's a God.
Why do you have a
It doesn't
conscience?
work that way.
I can't. Why do you have a
You can,
conscience?
but you'll be full of shit because I'll be calling you out on it.
I don't really care what you call me out on.
Well,
But
good.
I'm just
good.
saying, who are you? What are you?
The fuck kind of question is that?
That's a good question. What are you?
Vague,
What are you?
vague. It's a vague question. How am I going to answer that?
What are you?
I can answer that so many different ways. What's the
Let me
point?
ask you less personal. What is it? What is it?
Where are you trying to go with it?
I'm just asking you a question. What is
Don't ask me stupid questions.
It's not a stupid. It's a bottom line
It's
question.
a stupid question.
It's a deep
Lead you nowhere. If
know
you
what
have a
even
point, make it.
You don't even know
Otherwise,
what
don't
even
ask me stupid questions.
What is the me you're talking about?
Oh
You say
my
it and
God.
don't ask me.
To say that
What are you?
You have no idea what you're talking
I do
about.
have an idea.
You guys are out here
What are
wasting
you?
your fucking time
I'm asking
with your
what are you?
bullshit.
You said don't ask me. What is the me? What am I
I
talking
have no idea what.
What am I talking to? What are you?
What do I have no idea about, lady?
What are you?
What do I have no idea about, lady?
What are you? Just a bundle of Bible
Huh?
ministry?
What?
We've told you everything we believe. You told us nothing about
I know.
what you're doing or what you want.
Why would that matter? I'm the skeptic. You're out here making a positive assertion.
You're putting all burden on us.
Yes, because you have the positive assertion. You're out here saying there is a God, which means you do have the burden of proof.
Sir,
So what?
Yes.
Who made that
you
rule?
actually want
Who made that rule?
to, you might not want to.
Are you- that's fucking logic, you dumbass.
Whose logic?
Oh, wow, you're stupid.
Whose logic?
What's that?
Whose logic?
You are assuming you do not have a positive assertion.
I don't.
Your assertion.
I'm the skeptic here.
You are.
You guys, you need to do your basic logic. Your basic logic.
I don't have to worry about
I'm
anything.
a skeptic of what you believe.
Yeah, I don't
Now
believe-
you
What is it that I
You're
believe
a
in?
liar about this skeptic.
What is it I believe in?
You're a
I
liar.
can't believe anything
You're a
that you say, but
skeptic.
you won't
I'm
tell
not
me
saying something that requires belief. I'm not saying anything that requires it. Like what? What am I saying? Then what am I saying? Then I'm not saying anything, am I?
You're saying a lot of
Then what is it?
You're saying
Then what am I saying? Then what am I saying?
I'm your skeptic.
If I'm saying nothing, then I'm not saying anything, right? Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself? Because you're not making any sense at all. You guys don't know how to think. Whenever you say something exists, you need to show that it's true. You can't just say something's real and think that nobody has the burden of proof. It's you. If I say Peter Pan's true, I have to show Peter Pan is true. You understand? But they don't understand that. They don't understand that.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to play a skeptic game with you.
No
To me,
games.
you exist.
I'm not going to play any games with you.
Please. No,
Not
no,
gonna-
it's okay.
not going to play any games with you.
Okay, fine.
No.
Right.
You guys just talk to
You don't
yourself.
wanna play a game?
Pretend you're talking to your
Fine.
imaginary friend in the
I don't wanna
sky.
play
Good
with
luck.
us. We're playing with ourselves. Fine.
Yeah. You're gone. Who's not existing? Blah, blah, blah. He sent Jesus down me. Down for me. Blah, blah. I'm talking to myself. Think I'm going to talk to my imaginary friends, but it's not going to work. But I don't know that. But I'm going to talk to myself anyways because everyone else is, so it might be the right thing to do. See you guys. Alright, before you guys get on me about that, I know that it was quite hostile. But, there was no having a simple conversation with anyone there. So, if I could have a simple conversation with somebody there, I shouldn't even have to say this. Okay, I shouldn't even have to say this. But I'm going to anyways. Because some of you will just jump in and say, oh, well, you should have had a more structured conversation and blah, blah, blah. There's no having a structured conversation in that situation. If I was to have any dialogue at all, I had to do what I had to do, what I just did. Which is egg them on. Because they're out there with the their loudspeaker and shit, and thinking they're doing something or getting something. They're making too much noise, and they weren't making any sense. And there's no way that anyone's going to listen to anything. So this was pretty much for the viewership. I wasn't really getting them. There's sometimes when you have conversations with people where you do it to get through to them and the people watching, or you just do it for the people watching, because sometimes you just can't work with people, but they still give you material. Like, they give me material regardless. So, and I didn't really start getting the material until I stuck around and kept talking and mocking them. Then they all just formed a circle around me and stuff. So, but I did a few guys, so I don't want to hear anything about, you should have been nicer. You should have been. No. You're not going to get anywhere with that, with those people. And they just try to go off on so many tangents. They couldn't answer questions. They would try to ask you questions to try to deflect the conversation. And when they don't even know that the burden of proof is on the person with the positive assertion, then they definitely don't know how to think properly. So there's no getting through to them at all. I knew there was no way. There's no way. Well, there could have been a way if they actually listened and it wasn't so noisy. But, yeah. So, that's it. Took my camera out today, so I got everything. It's a 360. I might turn it into just a screen. So, okay, guys. Weather's getting much nicer here in Florida, so there'll be more people out. That guy had a fucking loudspeaker, a fucking speaker in his goddamn bike. Are you kidding me? And then they were handing out these stupid bracelets. And this guy tried to tell me that Jesus is real because so many people believe in it. And then he changed the story and said, well, because of the Josephus. And then he changed the story again, and he says, oh, well, Matthew or Mark was written while Jesus was alive. No, I don't think so, buddy. So, yeah, I'm sure come further into spring, there'll be more people out. Definitely by summer too. Even though summer lasts a little later, there should be some people out. But you guys probably heard my voice. I'm not used to raising my voice much, so it got a little crackly.